Hey everyone, welcome. I'm so glad to see you again, and thanks for being here with me today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bob Nesbitt, and this is part 4 of this Breathwork series. And I'll be sharing more fundamentals, assessments, and exercises about breathwork for whole wellness and its relationship with the nervous system. You'll be able to self-assess your breath, monitor your progress, and exercises to help regulate your nervous system throughout your day. My plan for today is to continue with the final remaining 3 science-based fundamentals, then a brief check-in on how you did with the exercises from last time in part 3 of this series. Then present another breath assessment and finishing up with a mini breathwork exercise, as our breath is a cornerstone of neural rewiring and a foundational component of the neuroscripting process. Okay, so now let's shake out the stress of the day with some dance, right? And I hope you're enjoying this. So the music today that I selected is a song called Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. So let me cue this up. All right, and it's gonna be all right. Whew. All right, so now let's get ourselves settled in, right? And find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Catch my breath a little bit. And your palms up, resting up to on your knees. Close down the eyes if that feels comfortable for you to do. And take a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, followed by a deep exhale. Relaxing the shoulders down through the back, right? And allowing your presence to arrive in the here and now. And just breathe normally. All right, so now let's quickly rub our hands together to create that heat and energy. And as you do this, we're activating both hemispheres of the brain, the creative and the critical. So stop and bring your hands together at heart center, thumbs into the chest, elbows out to the side, allowing the creative and critical to become one. And just sit with this for a bit while being grateful that your basic needs in the moment are met. And I'll often say something like, "Thank you, angels, for reminding me of your presence and providing me with the messages that I need to hear today." You can state something similar or whatever resonates best for you. All right. So today I'll be sharing with you some basic concepts around breathwork for reducing stress and calming the nervous system. Please seek guidance from your primary care physician if in doubt before proceeding. I have these 11 science-based fundamentals about breathwork and its relationship with the nervous system. And I'll share these final 2 with you now. So breathwork fundamentals number 10 and 11. Number 10, breathing exercises are important, essential, and critical for gut health. It calms the nervous system via the vagus nerve, which is connected throughout our body as well as into our gut, which will help aid in reducing inflammation, thus overall healing. Also, the gut is home to the enteric nervous system, which is the largest and most significant component of the autonomic nervous system. So you can't heal the gut in absence of optimal breathing. The 2 go hand in hand and is critical for gut health. Number 11, there is not a single health condition and or life challenge that cannot be improved by optimal breathing, or one that cannot be made worse by suboptimal breathing, like when we're under stress. All right, so moving on. And as a reminder and review from last time in part 3 of this series was the CO2 tolerance BOLT test, which was an assessment, and where we scored ourselves in helping us rate the state of our energy levels, which is an indicator of our mitochondrial function and overall stress resilience, and what that meant. So see part 3 if you haven't done so yet, or just as a refresher. So what was your BOLT score? What came up for you? What was your key takeaway from that assessment? Anybody want to share? Please do so in the comments. Now we'll move on to the next part, which is assessment number 4, and called the max inhale and exhale test, which will assess neurological diaphragmatic control, function, and resilience. And this is part of the enteric nervous system. A bit more on that later. So optimal diaphragmatic control and resilience is integral for optimal function of all organ systems, particularly the respiratory and digestive systems, and to some degree the circulatory system. The diaphragm muscle is located at the base of the rib cage above the stomach. Here are the instructions for this assessment. Are you all with me? All right, so just listen first, okay? Now, like previously, you take 3 normal breaths, and then on the 4th inhale, you're going to take a few really deep diaphragmatic inhales, one right after another, filling your belly and lungs to maximum capacity without exhaling in between. Ensure that you're filling your diaphragm belly area first, then the lungs, much like filling a glass of water. It goes to the bottom, spreads out, fills up, and then we'll exhale slowly and long through pursed lips. I'll demo this first, and I'll break it into 2 parts here in the demo. First is the max inhale and then exhale. So the first part is like this. You take 3 normal breaths, and on the 4th, I'm going to max inhale several times. So it'd be like this. Breathe normally 3 times, and then on the 4th, I'm going to inhale several times. Breathing in, breathing in, breathing in. And I want you to literally fill your belly and lungs to the point where you cannot possibly take one more breath in. Maximum capacity. Now the second part for the exhale, when you absolutely cannot take one more single breath, you're going to begin to exhale through pursed lips as if you're exhaling through a straw, as slowly and as long as possible, okay? You're also going to record yourself on a stopwatch when you start the exhale. So have your timers handy. Again, when you start to exhale, start your stopwatch and exhale as slowly and as long as you can until you feel the inclination of, I have got to just empty this out and breathe in again. Okay, so the minute that you feel that, empty it out and breathe. Don't do it to the point where you're going to pass out. I'll repeat the instructions. You're going to take a few normal breaths. Then when you're ready, you're going to breathe in as deeply as you can using several inhales. Keep breathing in to fill your belly and lungs to maximum capacity. Don't empty them. Fill until you're like a balloon and you cannot possibly take one more breath in. Then when you reach that point, you're going to exhale as if you're exhaling through a straw, as slowly and as long as you possibly can, while you're timing your exhale on your stopwatch. So the minute you start to exhale is when you'll start your stopwatch. Then when you reach a point where you feel that inclination that you just have to empty it all out and breathe, do so. Do not push yourself to the point where you're going to pass out. It's normal to feel your belly start to kind of suck in, and pay attention to your timer and record your answer. So it will look like this: max inhale and the exhale long and slowly with pursed lips. Okay, I cut it short, but I think you get the idea. I'll provide you with the scoring when we're done. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Now write down diaphragm test on your paper. I'll put my timer up if you don't have one, and you will have to take notice and write down the time you started to exhale and your end time, and then you'll have to do some math. Okay, on the count of 3, we're going to begin. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and go. All right, I'll start the timer. Pay attention to the time when you did starting your exhale. And I'll probably let this timer go for at least 60 seconds, maybe a little longer. Okay, 45 coming up. All right, 60 seconds, 1 minute. I'll go just a little bit longer. Maybe up to 1.5 minutes, and we'll end it there. Okay. Okay, so how'd you do? Be sure you write down your score. And here's how we rate this. Under 20 seconds is considered poor. High anxiety and stress sensitivity, mechanical restriction is a possibility, poor pulmonary and/or diaphragmatic capacity. Breathing mechanics and diaphragm definitely need improvement. 20 to 40 seconds is average. Moderate to high stress anxiety state, breathing mechanics and diaphragm still need improvement. 40 to 60 seconds is intermediate, which generally improves quickly with focus on CO2 tolerance training, as long as other stressors are adequately addressed. 60 to 80 seconds is advanced, indicating healthy pulmonary system, good breathing diaphragm control, relatively good stress control. Above 80 seconds is considered elite. Advanced pulmonary adaptation, excellent breathing diaphragm control, excellent stress control. So how'd you all do? Did you get 80 seconds or above? The first time I did this, I got a 44. Okay, is this great information or what? Again, this is to assess diaphragmatic control and resilience of the diaphragm in tandem with the psoas. They are the main fight or flight muscles. They are main regulators and nervous system muscles. Now I learned this while I was studying gut stuff. Why? Because the gut is home to what? Now many of us would say the immune system, and yes, while that is true, a large portion of the immune system is in the gut, but more importantly, what other system is it home to? It's home to the enteric nervous system. This is the largest and most significant component of the autonomic nervous system. The enteric nervous system is our second brain, and the biggest part of that is in the small bowel. Do you see how this is all connected? The autonomic nervous system, on a physiological perspective, is the master regulator of all of our physiological functions, specifically digestive function. And it just so happens that the nervous system is also intimately connected with our subconscious and our whole energy field. So it's very intertwined here, and our breath is a homeostatic or thermostatic control of the nervous system. So we can use our breath to upregulate the nervous system in a more sympathetic state of flight or fight. So it's very intertwined here, and our breath is the homeostatic or thermostatic control of the nervous system. So we can use our breath to upregulate the nervous system in a more sympathetic state of fight or flight, or we can downregulate it in a more parasympathetic ventral vagal rest, digest, and social engagement. So this is why people with chronic gut wreckage need to be doing breath work. If not for the gut, then for chronic anxiety, depression, or whatever. To me, this stuff is like a gold mine. There's no supplement that can do what breathwork will do. I mean, when I learned this stuff, I was like, wow. I was like completely mind blown by it. So I hope you're just as mind blown as I was, because I just love sharing this stuff with you all, and now you have it. What's really great about this is that these breath modalities are short enough and simple enough to understand and self-assess yourself every day. Like, these are tools for life. That's short, sweet, and quick. You know, you don't have to sit and meditate for an hour. You can just plug these things in and start assessing and building resilience for your mitochondrial energy and healing your gut. This is the foundation of my approach: being trauma-informed, client-centered, self-empowered, and self-healing based. I cannot heal people. I can only hold space for them to learn how to heal themselves by becoming their own self-healer. So the last thing I'm going to share before we move on is a quick little neural rewiring tool, in that the most profound signals we have to our nervous system is our breath, our posture, and the images that we engage with in our mind. Once again, the most profound influencers and signals to the nervous system, telling the nervous system how to respond, is our breath, our posture, and our mind imagery. So if you want to change your state of being, if you're depressed and you want to feel not so depressed, if you're lethargic and you want to liven up, consciously, intentionally, and purposely shift your breath, your posture, and your mind imagery to match how you want to feel, even if you have to force it. Which, if you're depressed, you'll have to force it. Fake it till you make it. This is called harnessing the power of neuroplasticity. And this can be applied to everything you're doing. Before I come on and record a video, before I do a presentation or whatever, I want to feel focused, alert, confident, calm, cool, collective, and articulate. So what do I do before I do something? I imagine what that looks like in my mind's eye. I create the imagery of it, like how an Olympic downhill skier does before they hit the course. So I hold my body how a confident, calm, cool, collective, and assertive person would hold their body. And I match my breathing to how a calm, cool, assertive, collective, and articulate person would breathe. We can't just be focusing solely on the physiological balancing. We got to bring in the mental and emotional imagery into the mix, as well as the breath. They're all linked. And right there is a neural rewiring tool. And the more you make a habit of doing this, the more you're signaling to your nervous system, hey, nervous system, this is how I want you to align. This is the state of being that I want you to help me create. Do you see what I'm saying? Because think about it. When someone's depressed, how do they hold themselves? Like this. They hold their head down, right? Their breathing is labored. Well, how do you think the nervous system is going to respond to that? It's going to say, okay, I get the message. This is the state we're in, and well, that's the state you're going to be in. Make sense? Again, pretty profound stuff, right? Now in part 2, we discussed and assessed how well we were able to move from fight or flight to relaxed and social engagement. And I wanted to discuss for a minute about how dysfunctional breathing patterns are very much linked to heart rate variability issues. Heart rate variability is an indicator of nervous system resilience. Heart rate variability is the variation in your heart rate between the inhale and the exhale. So when we inhale, we want our heart rate to go up. That's a sympathetic response. The heart rate will naturally go up, and when we exhale, we want it to come down. That's a parasympathetic response. And we want that variation between the peak and the trough, the highs and the lows, to be as varied as possible. If people aren't spiking and not dropping, that is low heart rate variability. Low heart rate variability is linked to poor nervous system flexibility, meaning your nervous system doesn't have the ability to spike an appropriate stress response or drop an appropriate parasympathetic response. It's like there's no flexibility. Low heart rate variability is linked to stress maladaptation. Stress maladaptation is linked to chronic cell danger response mode. Chronic cell danger response mode is linked to poor cellular function, chronic inflammation, and resulting metabolic chaos, and around we go. The more that you can improve your breathing patterns, the more you're going to improve your heart rate variability. Everything is connected. The more you can improve your breathing patterns, the more resilience you'll have in your nervous system. The more resilience in your nervous system, the more resilience in your cellular health. It's all bidirectional. So that's the breathwork assessment for today, as well as quick neural rewiring tool and a quick mention about heart rate variability. Let me know what y'all think. In our upcoming part 5 of this series will be another assessment and tool on specific breathwork exercises for digestive issues in regards to diaphragmatic inflammation. So that will be in part 5 of this series. I'll end this week's session with a basic simple breathing exercise, something you can practice this week, which is a tool for calming fight or flight, releasing stress, calming the nervous system, and creating an energetic boundary barrier, and can be used prior to coaching sessions, giving presentations, public speaking, and so on, or just used throughout the day. And this is an interventional grounding tool to use as needed anytime. So I'll give a quick demo. Interlock fingers from both hands in front of you, palms up, and low as they'll go. Now say out loud or to yourself, I breathe in calm. And breathe in with a 4 count through your nostrils while raising your hands up, bending elbows next to the body to up about armpit level. And hold your breath for 2 seconds. Then what you'll do is you'll turn your hands over, palms down, saying out loud or to yourself, I breathe out stress. Keeping hands locked, and breathe out your mouth for a 6 count while lowering your hands all the way down. Then breathe in through your nose with a 4 count again, but raise your arms up fully extended above your head, keeping palms down, saying out loud to yourself, I breathe in love. Then breathe out of your mouth on a 6 count while releasing hands, pointing the fingers, and lowering your arms to the side in a circular motion, saying out loud or to yourself, I now create an energetic barrier that allows good energy and in keeping bad energy out. Then interlocking your hands again at the bottom with palms up, which completes 1 cycle. Repeat 10 times, and this can shift your entire mood. So altogether, the whole thing looks like this. I breathe in calm. 2 seconds. I breathe out stress. I breathe in love. I now create an energetic barrier that allows good energy in and keeping bad energy out. All right. So in wrapping up, and once again, the best part of this is that our breath is always with us, and well, it's free. Now, I should mention that there is really no set time limit in performing any of these exercises mentioned throughout this series, as it is all subjective to what the person is tolerant and capable of doing. With that said, I would just start with a minute and work your way up. For me, in addition to doing my own breathing during the day when needed, I will often do breathing exercises for 20 to 30 minutes at night, like while I'm taking a magnesium bath, or with my legs up the wall. But I've worked up a tolerance to do these things. It's all part of mental and physiological entrainment. These practices are your commitment to your self-love. Feel grateful for that. Put any questions that you might have in the comments. So at this point, I will lead us into a tuning out. When you're ready, rub your palms quickly together, creating that heat and energy once more. Now bringing the thumbs into the heart, elbows out to the side, and reconnecting with that love that is already inside of you. Being grateful for the practice that is leading you back home to the self. And we close the practice today with 3 Sat Nams, a longer Sat and a shorter Nam. Take a cleansing breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale to begin. Sat is truth, Nam is essence. Truth is your essence. Sat Nam. And when you're ready, come back into the space. And thank you for sharing your practice with me today, because this is now your practice. I am grateful for you joining me today. For those of you on the live or on the replay, please feel free to comment. I would love to hear what your takeaway is from this presentation. I look forward to seeing you again. Much love, light, and joy to you all.